we feeling, everybody? How we feeling? It is Friday, TGIF edition of the show. Number one form for your Alabama football news right here in my own words. Yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And we're coming to you from Alumni Hall here in Tuscaloosa. The crown jewel will be right here every single Friday. We're here every single Friday bringing you your Alabama football news. As always, you can, as always, we definitely want you to, we're tuning right here to you from Alumni Hall. We want you to subscribe to the show. You hit that subscribe button right there. Make this your show, your network platform channel in space to talk Bama football. Also, hit that thumbs up. Hit that like button right there. Give us a thumbs up, like the show. We appreciate all the support coming from you guys, trying to get the show 50 likes out the gate here to start it. The daily super chat go $100 daily. Super chat go $100 right there. We appreciate the love from all of you. Hit that notification bell as well, so that way you miss absolutely nothing when it comes down to your Bama football information. We got a jam-packed show on this evening. We want to hear from you today. You can light us up by calling 205-448-1358, the number to call in to let your voice be made known on the show, 205-448-1358. One more time, 205-448-1358. Want to hear from you guys as we are right here, Alumni Hall in Tuscaloosa, the Crimson Tide, with its second scrimmage here taking place tomorrow inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. That's going to take us into our first topic of conversation here, Johnny, on this second scrimmage here for your Crimson Tide. The quarterback race, the quarterback competition, still something that everybody's talking about, still is on everybody's mind, and it will continue to be on everybody's mind until Coach Saban decides to name somebody or somebody pulls away full on and completely taking ownership of the job. Saban mentioned this week in his press conference, force us to play you. Force me to play you. When you go out your reps from a quarterback perspective, we want to look at you and see you doing so well, see you doing so great, see you doing so awesome as a quarterback that we have no other choice but to play you, but to roll the dice on you, but to name you as the guy. So Saban is issuing, or has issued, this challenge to Milroe, Ty Simpson, Tyler Buckner, basically the entire quarterback room. And after the first game-like practice from last week, and we saw, we got a chance to hear that Milroe took that step forward with his progression, making the right reads, getting the ball to the playmakers out there in space, and having those guys make plays. This scrimmage right here, it's a big question for one Ty Simpson, the redshirt freshman out of Tennessee. Big practice for him this weekend, because this is the scrimmage where we're going to start to see that depth chart coming to fruition. We're going to start to see who will be the ones, the starters, the second teamers, the marquee contributors. We start to see that depth chart really begin to formulate here with this final scrimmage of fall camp. So a big one here for Ty Simpson. Can he control the narrative here, or can he control Nick Saban's eyes, the eyes of the coaching staff, and force them to play him? Big scrimmage here for Ty Simpson, former five-star who came in the 2022 class, who led his high school, Westview High School in Martin, Tennessee, to a Class 2A state championship, a young man who did earn the Gatorade Player of the Year for the state of Tennessee, coming out of high school, a guy that his dad, Jameson Simpson, college coach at UT Martin, somebody who has spent a lot of time this offseason, that being Ty Simpson, working with the likes of quarterback country and others. We know what he can do as far as the arm talent. He can spray the ball all over the field. The ball looks smooth coming out of his hands, a very sort of polished throwing motion, if you will. But for Simpson, it's going to be dictating the eyes of Coach Saban, dictating the eyes of the Alabama coaching staff, and proving to them that he is the guy. Can he prove to them in this second scrimmage that he is the guy here for Alabama football? Because going back to Jalen Milroe, at this point, it's looking like he's the guy right now. And for Milroe, someone of whom that first scrimmage, you go back to last week, had a couple of touchdown passes, looked very comfortable, very confident, getting the ball up and down the field and moving the team. And I got a chance to talk with former NFL player earlier this week whose son actually played for the University of Alabama. I'm not going to give away who the individual was, but I was told by him, Jalen Milroe is that guy right now. Jalen Milroe, confident in the pocket, confident in his reads, confident in his keys, and getting the ball out to the playmakers. And, Milroe, a guy that can get this done. And from this former NFL player's vantage point, he was talking about how nothing has changed in his opinion about Milroe. From day one, he saw the young man from Texas as the guy, as the starting quarterback for Alabama football. Nothing has changed in terms of his opinion. So right now, the job is looking like Milroe's to lose. He has gone ahead. He has taken that lead there. He's trying to stack another primetime performance up in tomorrow's game-like practice. So the big thing for Ty Simpson is going to be, can he control the eyeballs of the coaches? Can he control the eyeballs of Coach Saban? Big thing here for the redshirt freshman, as Saturday will be a marquee moment for him. But while the conversation has been Milroe, Simpson, and Buckner, going back to the former NFL player I spoke with, he's like, everyone's talking about these three, but keep your eyes on the freshman Dylan Larnagin, because that's where it is right now. Dylan Larnagin, young man from Brookwood High School in Georgia, really had a strong first scrimmage. I was told here, this young man, big arm, very smart, can process everything. This young man can play. He has it. We don't know what that it is, but according to the people I have spoken with, Dylan Larnagin has it. And when you go back to the Alabama spring game in April inside Bryant-Denny, he had the best numbers of all the quarterbacks at the scrimmage, 8 of 14 passing, 79 yards, did have a touchdown pass to Justice Haynes. The hype surrounding this young man is real. Real hype surrounding one Dylan Larnagin. Pitcher in baseball, can process information, a very strong arm, doesn't make the mistakes, gets you in and out of the right play. These are things that people are saying about this young man. In fact, the only thing that's keeping him away from being QB1 at this point is just him continuing to learn some things, continuing to grow in some aspects. We all kind of remember 2016, if you will, when you had Blake Barnett and Jalen Hurts. Blake Barnett went out there first against USC, could not move the football. Bama goes to the freshman and Jalen Hurts, and it was all she wrote. Plays being made left and right all over the field, and Jalen Hurts became the guy. And if you look at 2017, it was Jalen Hurts was the guy, but people just knew how special Tua Tagovailoa was as a passer, as a distributor of the football. And Nick Saban mentioning, hey, we just got to get Tua ready. We have to get Tua prepared in the event that we need him. We can go to him. That event came, national championship matchup against Georgia. Am I saying the same thing comes for Dylan Larnagin? Not necessarily saying that, but I do look at what this young man is doing so far in the offense, in the program, in the system. If there was a moment that Alabama could use a Dylan Larnagin, could it come this season? It could. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets some reps here in this matchup against Middle Tennessee State to open the season at Bryant-Denny on Saturday, September the 2nd. But the big thing here is, people, for Ty Simpson. Big second scrimmage for him. Coach Saban mentioned, force me to play you. Force us to play you. Can Simpson get that done and wow the coaching staff? Because right now, Jalen Milroe has the edge. Jalen Milroe has the lead in this quarterback conversation. And it looks like Milroe could be the starter here week 1 for Alabama against the Blue Raiders of Middle Tennessee State. But it's going to be fun to watch here, this scrimmage taking place on tomorrow. But we go to our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. We're just getting started. Upon our return, we want to go on the phone lines. We grab your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. We want to hear from you after this as we're live from the crown jewel of Tuscaloosa, Alumni Hall. We'll be back to take your calls after this.
This is Matt Caddell, former Alabama wide receiver, and you're listening to In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith with Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And I got 2 words to say, baby. Roll Tide.
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
And we are back in the action here, folks, from the break in the crown jewel of Tuscaloosa Alumni Hall, right here on a Friday. TGIF edition of the show, hottest show in the streets, bringing you the Alabama action. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, and people here at Alumni Hall, they are pumping the music. We're getting some Lauryn Hill, we're getting some Men in Black with Will Smith, we're getting everything in here. We're getting all the live action in here. Thanks to you guys for checking us out on a Friday. Continue tapping that like button. Give us a thumbs up right there on the show. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button as well. Share the show to everybody that you know on all platforms. We appreciate the love from you guys. At daily Super Chat Go, $100 daily. Super Chat Go, $100 right there. And it's official, people. We all feel old at this point. Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. has committed to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Coach Saban getting that yes from Dre Kirkpatrick Jr., young man from Gadsden High School here in the state of Alabama. Dre Kirkpatrick Sr. played for the Crimson Tide, was on that 2009 and 2011 BCS National Championship teams, and now his son, Dre Jr., giving that yes there, that verbal commitment to Alabama football. So yes, we all, including myself, feel old right now as Dre Jr. giving that yes to Bama. But we go on the phone lines to grab your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. The number to call in to let your voice be heard, 205-448-1358. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feel, and state your name and where you're calling from.
What's going on, Steve? This is Roy from Mobile, Alabama.
Rod, what's happening, man?
Hey, man, I got 2 questions for you today. Starting off first, I know that the NCAA placed that violation on Jeremy Pruitt. And my thoughts is, why not just bring him in as an analyst and have him sitting waiting to be the DC for that 1 year he suspended? Ain't like Kevin Steele getting any younger. He going to retire pretty damn soon. And my second question is, who do you see second in a running back rotation behind McClellan? You know, we got a room full of backs, so it's hard to see who comes in second behind him. That's all I got.
Appreciate Ryan from Mobile calling in there. So the first question there on Pruitt, I would have loved to have seen Bama bring in Jeremy Pruitt as an analyst, even with all the stuff that happened there at Tennessee. But Coach Saban choosing to not go that route. Pruitt back at Plainview High School as a PE coach and also basketball coach for the junior varsity boys team. But we'll see if there's something that takes place. Pruitt does end up coming back to Alabama at some point down the road. But as of right now, they've been choosing not to take that route. As far as the running back question there behind Jase McClellan, I like Justice Haynes. I really do. The freshman from Buford High School in Georgia, tore up high school. And at the spring game, he had 3 total touchdowns, including 2 rushing scores. I like Justice Haynes there for running back 2 behind McClellan. But Roydell Williams, a lot of experience. He looks to get his way there. Sham Miller, who had an 85-yard touchdown run in the first scrimmage on last week. He looks to get a run in there also. So it's going to be very interesting. Me personally, I like the workman-like mentality and the talent that Justice Haynes brings to the table. But we shall see. Bama's got a lot of talent in that backfield. A lot of rotation they can go to with 5 backs there on the roster. But 205-448-1358, and I'm going to call in to let your voice be made known on the show. 205-448-1358. Gotta show some love to Justin Summerlin with the $5 donation in the Super Chats. Justin Summerlin helping us out right there. Gotta show some love to him on the show. But we got a call right here coming to the show here. This call, you're live on the show. What's happening? How we feel? State your name and where you calling from.
Oh, this is Mike from Chicago. Roll Tide.
What's happening, Mike?
Nothing much. With all the quarterback noise, I haven't heard a lot of with Quay Russo. And what was the DT that came in with him? And there was big noise about them in the spring. Yeah, James Smith. What's going on with them guys? Are they making moves to actually play?
But both of those two are making moves. James Smith has done well on the defensive line. Going to be interesting to see. Does he end up, Mike, as a D tackle or as a defensive end? Because he can play both. And that's going to be the big thing for James Smith. Does he end up more so as a defensive tackle, as a nose guard, or does he end up more so as a defensive end? I know Coach Saban has mentioned T.M. Smith, wanting to see more consistency from him at that DN position. But for James Smith from Carver Heights, Montgomery, where does he end up being better at, D tackle or DN? That's going to be the fun thing with him. Quay Russo's making noise there at that outside linebacker position. Now, the outside backer spot is a ton of depth there behind Dallas Turner, behind Chris Braswell. You got Quandarius Robinson, Keanu Colt back there. You got Keon Key, Pierre. A lot of outside linebackers. I like Russo. He's been doing well in fall camp, but he's behind a ton of people.
Question: Have you stopped waving the flag for Blackshear, or do you still think there's hope for him this year?
There is a small slither of hope, man, but it's tough because of the fact that the job Deontay Lawson's done, Jahad Campbell's came strong, Tresman Marshall's doing some stuff, Justin Jefferson's showing some stuff. So it's like the smallest bit of hope, but it's dwindling fast because other guys have stepped their game up.
Well, roll Tide. Can't wait 2 more weeks. Roll Tide.
Mike calling in there to the show. 2 more weeks, exactly 2. The football season. We get this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feel? State your name and where you're calling from. You're live on the show, caller. Unfortunately, that we lost that call into the show, but 205-44. There we go. You're live on the show. You're live on the show. You're live.
We got Johnson from Meridian, Alabama, and I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
On Alabama ranked 4. What's your take on Alabama being ranked 4th to start off the season? Will it help them win a natty this year?
Good question there. Alabama being ranked 4. That's going to actually lead us into our second topic of conversation. But I think the number 4 preseason ranking is a good thing. I think it plays back to history of the last time Alabama was ranked lower than 2 or 3. We remember what happened. That was back in 2009, and that was a national championship there. So I think it's a good thing for Alabama to be ranked number 4 because it keeps them in that focused mindset of we're trying to be the hunted here, or the hunter here at this point. But appreciate that call coming in too. The show, we're going to definitely get more so into that question and topic 2 of the show. But guys, shout out the man Joseph with that $9.99 in the super chats. Joseph here giving love to the show. We appreciate him with that super chat donation right there. But we got to go to a cool call topic right here, folks, and that goes to one Jameson Williams, former Alabama wide receiver. Spent 1 year with the Crimson Tide, but an electric year it was. 2021, JMO, 79 catches, 1,572 yards, had 15 touchdowns, helping the Crimson Tide to an SEC championship, a berth in the college football playoff, and an appearance in the college football playoff national championship game. And if not for an injury to J-Mo in the national title game, you have to ask yourself, does Alabama pull off that win there against Georgia if it only had Jameson Williams? And for a lot of you, that is a resounding yes, because of the speed that young man possessed at the wide receiver position. But the news on J-Mo, he will miss the remainder of the preseason for the Detroit Lions due to a hamstrings injury. J-Mo with a hamstring issue will miss the rest of preseason. He will miss the 6 games of the regular season due to violation of the NFL's gambling policy. But when J-Mo comes back, he'll be full force and ready to go. The president with that $4.99 in the super chats. Appreciate Waylon helping us out here on the show. But we're taking another break here, folks. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we get into why the number 4 preseason ranking for Alabama by the AP poll is a good thing. We'll get to it right after this.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, in my own words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
From the break, from the crown jewel of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Alumni Hall, right here. And we will be right here every Friday during football season, moving forward. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Continue tapping the like button, giving us that thumbs up right there, like the show, hit that subscribe button, share the show to everybody that you know over every platform that you have here on social media. We appreciate that. Also, that daily super chat go, $100 daily super chat go, $100 right here. We appreciate you guys. We have a message board as well. If you're trying to be among the first wave, a group of fans to help us regrow or rebuild the message board, the link to the message board can be found in the chat line or in the description. That's touchdownalabama.com, Touchdown Alabama Magazine, the message board right there. Gotta show another piece of love for the man Wayland, the president in the building with another $4.99 in the super chats, helping us out here on the show. And begin to now, topic number 2, John and Eli, the conversation. This was preferenced by one of our calls in the first call segment. Alabama ranked number 4 preseason AP top 25 poll, and this is a good thing. This is a good thing here for Alabama. I know for some people it's where Alabama's ranked too low and people are sleeping on Bama and the disrespect and they're undervaluing Alabama. And then you have some that go, well, Bama's overrated. They should be lower than 4. This team's not all that good. I don't know who the quarterback is. There's a lot of conversation going both sides of the spectrum. But for me, the preseason at number 4 ranking in the AP poll is a good thing because it gives you back a little bit of history here, if you will. And why do I say history? Because the last time Alabama was ranked lower than 2 to 3 in the AP poll, it ended up getting a national championship, if you will. That was back in 2009. Before I even get into that, I want to look at it like this. Coach Saban's got this team exactly where he wants them to be at in terms of the focus, the motivation, the humility, the attention to detail. Coach Saban's got this team exactly where he wants it at in terms of, hey, everybody's talking bad about you. Everybody's saying you can't do it. Everybody's saying you don't know who the quarterback is. Everybody's downing you right now. Here's a shot to take all of this, use this pure motivation to get back to the main goal. What is that main goal? Winning the conference championship and winning the national championship. The main goal right there. So with everybody putting you down, here's a chance to come from underneath the water and catch everybody off guard here. It's kind of the message that Saban is putting out here to everybody. And with the talk being about Georgia's the standard, Georgia's the team to beat, Georgia's the team to watch, Kirby Smart's got the program that everybody is high on right now, the Bulldogs, defending national champions, back-to-back national champions. Here is Alabama's chance to knock out Georgia. Here's Alabama's chance to reclaim the crown back. Here's Alabama's chance to reclaim the title back, if you will, as the team in college football. And the reason why I brought up history is, remember 2009 for just a moment. You can draw a lot of parallels. You can draw a lot of similarities between this year's Alabama team and the 2009 Alabama team. And the reason why you could draw similarities to this is, remember 2008 where Alabama lost a lot of guys to the NFL. It lost a lot of leadership. Big Andre Smith, left tackle, gone. Big Glenn Coffey, running back, gone. John Parker Wilson, your quarterback, gone. Rashad Johnson, your safety, gone. There was a lot of leadership off that 08 team that departed to the NFL draft. And so many people felt like 09, I just don't see this 09 Bama team winning a national championship. I mean, can Greg McElroy really take a team and win a national championship? Can Greg McElroy really beat Tim Tebow? I mean, that's Tim Tebow. That's Urban Meyer. That's Florida. Can Greg McElroy take an Alabama team and win a national championship with that team? There was a lot of doubt for that 09 team. That 09 team bought in. But the 09 team knew Florida's the powerhouse. Florida's the marquee program. Florida's the dynasty, if you will. And Alabama took on the challenge and usurped the power from Florida. Alabama took on the challenge, goes undefeated at 09, goes to the SEC championship team, puts tears on Tim Tebow's face, forces Urban Meyer to leave the conference, and Alabama wins the national championship. And the run of greatness started right there with that 09 team that started the preseason poll, the AP poll, ranked number 5 in the nation. So here we go again here. What are the parallels to this team? Well, Bryce Young is gone. And everybody's like, well, Bama doesn't have a quarterback. Bryce Young is gone. No more Bryce Young. No more Heisman Trophy winner. No more electric arm of Bryce Young. Will Anderson gone. No more Will Anderson. No more dangerous defensive player. No more terrorizing defensive sack specialist. Will Anderson's gone. People look at, well, Brian Branch is gone and all these other players gone. I don't look at this 2023 team as a team that can win a national championship, and it's ranked 4th here in the preseason poll. Saban's got this group exactly where he wants it. It's amazing how history repeats itself. It's amazing how many deja vu moments can come. And so here we are here with Alabama, ranked number 4. Here we are here with the Crimson Tide, not in the top 2 in the preseason polls here. And here is Coach Saban with a shot to give this team all the motivation it wants to provide. Here's Coach Saban with a shot here to give this team all the motivation that he wants to give them to make sure not only we get to this national championship, not only that we get to this conference championship and be able to win and knock out Georgia, but a shot to get to a national championship. I see a lot of parallels here between the 2009 team and this 2023 team. Will it all come to fruition for this 2023 bunch? That's the hope, that's the prayer, that's the idea. But the parallels right there, the storylines right there, everything else is right there. We're going to go to another break here, folks, from the show. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we jump back into those phone lines. We grab your calls, your thoughts, your conversations on a TGIF Friday, free-for-all Friday, on the eve of a second scrimmage of fall camp. Light the phone lines up. We want to get to you after this.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Marvin Constant, All-SEC linebacker and 1999 SEC champion. You are listening to In My Own Words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
Well, it's not Bryant-Denny Stadium, but it's still the crown jewel of Tuscaloosa. We're right here in Alumni Hall on a Friday, TGIF edition of the show, hottest show on the streets here, talking your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Got my guys Eli Walker and John Ivory running the show, producing the show. We got some super chats to get to, but we even take phone calls, so we're getting the horn going as J.D. Long, baby, with that $19.99 in the super chat, showing love right there. J.D. Long behind him. We got Reaper R with the $5 donation. We roll it on down to Rusty Chambers, who throws in a Ulysses S. Grant, a $50 donation. The super chats, my God, we're going crazy in here. Trying to control my voice. Man, appreciate all of you guys helping us out right here. Dropping the love there in the bucket, making the short show your spot there for all things Bama football. We go to the phone lines now. We take your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Ridge Gang, 205-448-1350. Call in, 205-448-1358. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feel, and state your name and where you calling from.
This is Big Al from Monroeville, Alabama. How's it going, Stephen Smith?
Doing great, Big Al, and yourself?
We're doing all right, man. And my question is, how do you feel about the offense as far as game one with Nick Saban and Tommy Rees? Do you think they'll be more conservative, or do you think they'll let them open the playbook up for whoever's starting quarterback to get ready for Texas?
I think Big Al's going to start off with the run game first. You got a big offensive line. You got 5 backs in this rotation. So I think Alabama's going to start this thing off with running the football first, establishing some physicality there, and then getting that quarterback comfortable with the passing game. There'll be some passing going on. Guys are going to be hitting guys in stride. But I think the main thing here is establishing that physical presence early, that balance early, with hitting the opposition with the run game first. Appreciate Big Al there calling into the show. We take this call. It's House of Pain jumping around, glaring through the speakers. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
My name is Mike, and I'm calling from Austin, Texas.
Mike, what's happening, man?
Well, I just want to say 2 things. One, I like where this team is at, and I think they have the right mindset, and I think they have the hunger this year. Because I might be wrong, but I think sometimes having a quarterback like Bryce Young, that's another level of quarterback. I think sometimes the rest of the team gets complacent a little bit and puts it all on his shoulders, and that just might work against you a little, some. But this year, I think there's going to be more of a team chemistry, and I think Nick Saban, being the GOAT that he is, did exactly what he needed to do, was replace the defensive coordinator and the offensive coordinator. I think he did what he needed to do, but I like where this team is at. And here's my prediction, what might play. I don't know how good Bama's going to do this year, how far they're going to go, but I think what's going to happen is Nick Saban wants one more national championship. That'll give him one more than the Bear. I think he wants one more, and then he's going to go out in style. And I think that's why you see the hunger that he's and the fire in his belly that he's coaching with right now. But I think this team's been underestimated a little bit. I think the quarterback room is fine. They're going to be fine. And I see a hunger in the team that they haven't had for a few years. And the schedule is tough, but I think Alabama's in good position to have a good year.
I think they are as well. And a good point made right there. A good point made, because when you think about this, Bryce Young, as great as he is, when you have to have him bail you out every single time, it does not work for your team chemistry. As great as he is, it does not work for your team chemistry. So to have a team chemistry in line, to have the hunger in line, both offensively and defensively, Coach Saban did exactly what he needed to do to rear this team, to rear this program back forward, and put it on the mindset of national championship. It's a team effort here. Appreciate that call right there coming in, my man from Austin, Texas. We're going to grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Stephen. This is Joe from Alpharetta, Georgia. Hope all's well. Love your show.
Joe, doing great.
My question is this, Stephen.
Doing great, Joe.
My question is this: I'm hearing a lot about LSU, and a lot of people are picking LSU to win the West, and some are picking them as possibilities to win the national championship. Over the last couple of years, Alabama, outside of a couple positions, hasn't played fast and with confidence. And obviously there were a lot of issues with penalties. From what you've seen, looking at the body of work from the last 2 years, how do you see that changing this year and why?
Well, number one, going back to the penalties there, Joe, I think so far in practice in fall camp, we have seen Kevin Steele, as well as the rest of the coaching staff, have gotten on these players about penalties, whether it's doing different disciplinary things after each penalty, or whether it's older players getting in the face of younger players saying, hey, cut that mess out. So we've seen a lot of more so guys holding guys accountable, coaches holding coaches, coaches holding players, players holding players accountable. That accountability factor has come back to this year's team. That plays a big role. That plays a monster role in that. And on top of that, the mindset to want to be elite, to want to be dangerous, to want to be physical, to want to shut teams down and make teams quit. That mindset is returned to this year's group, whether it's the offensive line talking that, players on defense talking that, running backs talking that. So I think the mental aspect of it, of Bama wanting to be rough, tough, snatch their soul from Bama, that mindset has returned.
Thanks, Steven, and roll Tide.
Appreciate Joe. They're calling from Alpharetta, Georgia, to hit to the show. We get this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Yeah, this is Terrence from Lufkin, Texas, by way of Mississippi.
Terrence, what's going on, man?
Man, nothing much. Roll Tide. Just got a few little things. Okay. Do you think Jamil Burroughs would have been a starter if he was still here? What's the word on him? He's suspended for a year. I see he's in transfer portal. You think he'll come back, or coach will let him come back? Next, these quarterbacks pushing each other. We still got Ty Simpson, Dylan Lonergan coming along. Yeah, even though it's the third team, he's coming along. Everything's been good. Then we got Julian Super Saiyan coming. If we're going to continue to be the back and forth fluctuation of the better the quarterback, the defense kind of lack off a little bit because, like one of the callers said, relying on the QB. Can't be like that. And lastly, I watched the standard, Bama standard. Just like Marvin said, the defense takes the personality of the D coordinator and the Mike linebackers. Do you see them playing more aggressively? We need to be way better on the defense, like you said, holding each other accountable, accountability. That need to be our revenge factor, being accountable for oneself on the field and what you do off the field, because what you do off the field transitions over to on the field. So just wanted to know a few things about that, and do you think Jamil Burroughs can get a chance to come back? Roll Tide.
Appreciate Terrence calling in right there. So Jamil Burroughs, I don't think so. I'm not sure if he was to have stayed, there would be a good shot at him being a starter, just due to Coach Saban mentioning how T.M. Smith has been up and down in camp, and Burroughs and Smith both came in that 2020 class. But do not see Burroughs coming back. Do not see Burroughs coming back here at this point. When you look at the quarterback situation here, I look at this. Everybody in that quarterback room is trying to better each other. They're pushing each other. They're competing against each other. It's going to be more of a team game this year. I talked about it. I talked about this. As great as Bryce Young is and was and is, when you have just a quarterback like that to where everybody knows he's capable of bailing you out, there's a complacency that sets in. There's not going to be that complacency this time around because this team knows 9 is gone. We got to help out whoever the next guy is, whether it's Milroe, whether it's Simpson, whether it's whoever it is. We got to help out the quarterback because we're not going to have a situation that we had with Bryce Young where we just look back and hope that he bails us out. Not going to happen. So it's going to be a team thing this season. And then last but not least here, defensively, Kevin Steele has the aggressiveness where these guys are concerned. Terrion Arnold talked about it. Kevin Steele's voice, his energy, his mentality, it puts us in the mood to play football. No one said this about Pete Golding the last 4 to 5 years, that Pete Golding's voice, that Pete Golding's energy put us in the mood to play football. Kevin Steele's voice, Kevin Steele's energy, Kevin Steele's mentality has us in the mood to play football. So that by itself should have you excited to see this team be more aggressive, be more in your face, shoot the gaps, make the plays that you want to see this defense making. From the linebacker perspective, Deontay Lawson, Jihad Campbell, those two young men are putting in that work. Tresman Marshall is also, you've got guys like Justin Jefferson, he is also, but Deontay Lawson and Jihad Campbell putting in that work. But guys, shout out that man Bill from New York. Big Bill with that 504, dropping that love there in the Super Chats. That daily goal of $100 has been met. Appreciate all of you, the Bama fans, the Bama Nation, showing love right here to the show, helping us out, all the phone calls, the donations, making us your spot for all things Bama football. We go to our call topic, that being one Jase McClellan, who getting his chance to be the featured back for Alabama football this season. McClellan here making his second preseason award. Watching this, he's on the Maxwell Award for college football's Player of the Year, the Maxwell Football Club. But now he's on the Earl Campbell Tyler Rose Award. This honor goes to the top offensive player in college football from the state of Texas. It's named after Earl Campbell from Texas, Jase McClellan from Aledo, Texas. So big ups there to McClellan being up for the Earl Campbell Tyler Rose Award there. But we take our final break here on the show. When we get back, we wrap things up by talking Amari Niblack. Is the sophomore tight end from South Florida ready to finally explode? We'll get into Niblack and how he can be an impact player right after this.
I'm Malachi Moore. You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith on Touchdown Alabama YouTube channel.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we're back rocking and rolling to the action right here from the break. Number one form for your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA from Alumni Home, a crown jewel right here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And we appreciate all of you guys for all the phone calls, all the donations, the chatting in the YouTube chat line, making the short show your spot, your network, your place here for all things Crimson Tide football. We definitely appreciate you guys as we wrap this thing up here. Eli and John, we look at one, Amari Niblack. The tight end position has been big in fall camp. Coach Saban shining a light there on that positional unit. Bama's got depth there. It's got playmakers there. It's got athletes there. It's got guys that can block, guys that can catch, guys that can run routes. I have different tight ends here in this room, but the most impressive one, you have to look at Amari Niblack, the former four-star from South Florida, who came in the 2022 class. And he's at a point now ready to have an impact, ready to be impactful on this team. Joe Cox, tight ends coach, has done a fantastic job at developing Amari Niblack. I mean, here's a young man that caught a touchdown pass in the first scrimmage last week, caught a 15-yard touchdown last season against Louisiana Monroe, if I'm not mistaken. And we wanted to see more of him last year, but he wasn't quite ready yet. Was not a full, complete tight end in terms of blocking, right? Pass catcher, yes. Route runner, absolutely. But as far as the blocking is concerned, he wasn't quite ready yet. And we all know Coach Saban likes for his players to be complete all-around guys. Now, according to Coach Saban, Niblack, much better blocker, gotten bigger, gotten stronger, more physical, 245 pounds now of physicality, and a guy that's even grown in more of a route runner, can make those explosive plays. Saban calling him a mismatch out there on the field. He kind of reminds me, guys, of a more physical Kyle Pitts, if you will, Amari Niblack. We all remember how good Kyle Pitts was at Florida. Gave Alabama's defense some fits there in that SEC championship game in 2020, despite the fact that Alabama won the game 52-46. But Amari Niblack, strong, physical, athletic, run the routes, catching passes, becoming a much better blocker. This is finally his breakout year. This is his impactful season. Because as we all know, the best friend of a young quarterback is an explosive tight end. When you got an explosive tight end, that's your security blanket, then you can really do some stuff. And Amari Niblack is ready to have the starting quarterback for Alabama, really do some stuff here in this upcoming season. Excited for him, what he can do, what he can bring to the table. But folks, as always, you want the best in news, notes, information, coverage here on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio needs, check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. Got you covered right there. Good and gracious Lord sees fit. I'm trying to be back on Monday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football from our studios in Birmingham. As always, folks, if you're trying to, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link found there in the description. If you're trying to get your hands on the fresh edition of TDA the magazine, here's what you do. You go to touchdownalabama.com. You click join, become a member and or a subscriber today. That link in the description as well. Gotta show some love to the Sage. The Sage dropping in that $10 donation, helping us out here on the show. Gotta show some love to you, all the Bama fans, for all the calls, donations, chatting, making the short show your platform, your spot here to talk nothing but Bama football. Gotta show some love to my guys, John Ivory, Eli Walker, running the show, producing the show right here from Alumni Hall. And the outstanding people of Alumni Hall will be here every Friday, giving you nothing but Bama football. Till next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing to not be bored. It's a weekend in. Enjoy that weekend. Get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith, signing off from Alumni Hall. This has been In My Own Words.